You know that kind of story people tell in the village just to scare you? Well, this one happened to me. And even now, whenever I think about it, I still feel that same cold run down my spine. It was in SS2, during night prep. The school generator had gone off for a few minutes, so everywhere was dark and too quiet. The kind of quiet where you can hear someone scratching their head from the other side of the hall. Only our small kerosene lanterns were glowing faintly on the desks, making our faces look orange and strange. Most people were pretending to read, but I could tell half the class was half asleep. That's when we heard its footsteps in the corridor. Slow ones. Shoo, shoo, shoo. It wasn't rushing like a prefect on duty. It wasn't dragging like someone tired. It was just steady. At first, I thought it was our biology teacher, Mr. Patrick, doing his usual "I'm catching noisemakers" patrol. He had this way of sneaking up on you without making any sound, but you would still feel his presence before you saw him. But this time was different. The sound didn't pass. It stayed in one place for a few seconds, almost like whoever it was had stopped to listen. Then it started moving again. Towards the staff room. Our class captain, Femi, turned to me and whispered, "Let's follow it." I wanted to say no. Every part of my body wanted to stay in my seat, keep my head down, and pretend I didn't hear anything. But you know how peer pressure works, especially when 3 other boys were already standing up, looking excited like they were about to watch a fight. We grabbed our lantern and tiptoed out of the classroom. The corridor felt different, like the air was heavier. The strange part. We could hear the footsteps clearly, each one pressing against the floor, but when we looked, there were no shadows, no person, nothing. Femi muttered under his breath, maybe it's principal checking the school. But even he didn't sound convinced. The sound led us straight to the staff room door. It was slightly open. I don't know why, but the sight of that little gap in the door made my stomach tighten. The staff room was always locked at night, always. We pushed the door open slowly, and that was when we felt it. The air inside was cold, not Harmattan cold, but funeral cold. The kind of cold that doesn't belong to the weather. The lantern light flickered, and that's when we saw him. A man. Sitting at a desk near the window. Writing in a big attendance book. At first, I thought it was a new teacher I hadn't met before. But then he looked up. It was Mr. Musa. Now, you need to understand something, everyone in the village had a story about this man. My elder sister once told me how, 10 years ago, he left with some students for a debate competition in the next town. They came back without him. The school claimed he disappeared, but nobody explained how a whole grown man could vanish in daylight. Some people said he ran away with money from the school fund. Some whispered that he had been caught in the sacred forest at midnight, breaking a village taboo, and the spirits claimed him. Others swore they saw him days after his disappearance, sitting by the roadside, but when they went closer, it was just a tattered shirt lying there. But the most popular gossip came from old Mama Ikondeo, the food vendor. She said a witch from the next village had cursed him because he refused to marry her daughter. The curse. He would keep teaching forever, but never grow old, never get paid, and never leave the school. People laughed when she said it, but she never sold food to the staff again. And now, here he was. Still wearing the same brown shirt and black tie they said he wore that day. Not dirty. Not new. Just the same. His face was calm, but his eyes looked like he was seeing something far away. He smiled at us, not in a friendly way, but the kind of smile that makes you feel you should smile back even though you don't want to. Then he said, "Prep is over. Go to bed." No shouting. No anger. Just a soft voice, like he had been talking to us every day for years. We didn't even answer. We turned and ran so fast, I don't even remember my legs touching the floor. By the time we got back to class, half the students were staring at us like we had gone mad. The next morning, we went straight to the principal and told him what happened. At first, he laughed and said, "You children watch too many horror films." But when we insisted, he finally followed us to the staff room. They opened the door. Mr. Musa's desk was there. But no one had touched it in years, dust everywhere, a small cobweb in the corner of the chair. The attendance book. Completely blank. That night, while the generator hummed outside, I overheard two senior boys whispering in the hostel. One said the last person to see Mr. Musa alone at night ended up in the sick bay for a week, mumbling to himself. The other swore he once had chalk writing on a blackboard in the empty staff room, and the next day, the board was filled with lesson notes in Mr. Musa's handwriting. Since that night, whenever I hear slow footsteps in the hallway during prep, I keep my head down and pretend I'm reading. Because sometimes, footsteps don't belong to the living.